You're watching The Big Story. I'm Haryanto Diman. Subscribe to the Straits channel so you will not miss an episode. Broadening the idea of meritocracy while making it more inclusive. It's one of the key messages from President Halimah Yacob's speech in Parliament yesterday. That's been echoed by several ministries as they detail their plans for the rest of their term in government. For the Education and Manpower Ministries, they have outlined their plans in three main thrusts. The first being to broaden the definition of success. MOE will look to diversify education pathways, recognize different strengths and needs, as well as provide more interaction opportunities, while MOM will work with NTUC to professionalize skilled trades to offer better salaries and clearer progression ladders. The second is to equip students and workers to be future-ready, with MOE to provide better support for lifelong learning for adults while better aligning business needs and workers' skills. It also aims to leverage technology to help cater to children with different abilities. Meanwhile, MOM will look to empower workers to take charge of their careers with the help of added features to the My Careers Future portal. MOM also identified strengthening assurance for workers as the third thrust, helping them bounce back from setbacks. This will be through expanding the coverage of two income schemes. Employers will also be provided with wage offsets until 2025 to support seniors who want to continue working, and there will be a further review of retirement adequacy policies. President Halimah's speech was also about strengthening social safety nets so Singaporeans can better cope with uncertainties and setbacks at every stage of life. Some of the initiatives targeted towards families. The Social and Family Development Ministry will look at new childcare options aside from infant care facilities, while also better supporting those with disabilities and their caregivers in areas like costs of care and transition to post-school life. The National Development Ministry also says it will complete almost 40,000 homes this year and close to 100,000 by 2025. And the Health Ministry will implement the Healthier SG initiative, which focuses on preventive care in the next few years. The government also focusing on social mobility and opportunities for all to succeed. The Education Ministry says it will continue to invest heavily in the early childhood sector to ensure affordable and quality preschools. While for lower income families, MSF will provide comprehensive, convenient and coordinated social services for families to get help quickly. And for Singapore's seniors, MOH will look to active ageing centres and strengthen palliative care support, while MND will improve our built environment to be more senior-friendly with new housing options like community care apartments. To help us make sense of all this is Deputy News Editor Grace. So Grace, what do you make of the Ministry's key priorities?
Well, so for the rest of this week until Friday, all the ministries will be releasing what are called addenda or public statements detailing the plans for the rest of the term of this government. And today we had 5 ministries: the Ministry of Social Family Development, National Development, Education, Health and Manpower. Obviously, these are very diverse ministries, but there are 6 cross-cutting themes. So the first is to broaden the definition of success by recognizing different skills and talents and professions. The second is to equip Singaporeans to be future-ready at every stage of life. Third, strengthen assurances for workers so that they bounce back from setbacks. Fourth, provide seniors with stronger assurances in healthcare and housing. Fifth, support families through different life stages with additional support for the vulnerable and disadvantaged. And finally, to keep social mobility alive by providing opportunities for all to succeed. It is quite a mouthful, but it essentially comes down to 2 things, which is a broader idea of meritocracy, and second, a more inclusive society with opportunities and assurances throughout life. Now, this is not entirely new, and that's to be expected because there has to be some continuity of messaging within what is the current term of government. So if we think back to June last year, DPM Lawrence Wong also talked about improving meritocracy to make it open and more compassionate. And even longer before that, Senior Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam had used the term a continuous meritocracy. And I think my second observation would be that it's a testament to the whole of government approach to policy that we see some of these plans and priorities cutting across more than one ministry. So, for example, today on preschool education, both MOE and MSF said that they will work together on the early childhood sector, such as having more government-supported preschool places and more spaces for children with developmental needs.
Grace, so how do they fit into the President's address yesterday?
Well, first we have to contextualize what the President's address is meant to achieve. And although it's delivered by the President, the address is actually usually crafted by the government of the day. And this tradition is a legacy of the Westminster system of government, and it's the equivalent of the Queen or the King's speech that marks the opening of Britain's Parliament. So in the same vein, the new session of the 14th Parliament in Singapore kicked off with the President's address, which sets out the government's priorities, policies and programs for the rest of its 5-year term and ahead of the next election, which has to be held by 2025. Now, knowing this, we can then see how Madam Halima's address yesterday set the stage for a more detailed treatment of the different ministries' agendas that we'll be seeing more of over the next few days. So her address actually isn't meant to go into the weeds of programs and details, but it's meant to broadly describe the ideas of meritocracy and inclusion. This idea that Singapore must not allow advantages and privileges to become entrenched and to persist over generations. And instead, the sense from the speech was that the idea of meritocracy, which has always been the organizing principle of Singapore society, needs to be broadened and made more open. And this is important as Singapore seeks to overcome the tendency in many societies as they become more advanced to become more stratified and less socially mobile over time. So there is this need to expand opportunities throughout life for every citizen, regardless of their starting point. And in this regard, she outlined 4 priorities for the remainder of the term of the government, as well as some of the key values that will shape its agenda. So these 4 are combating stratification, improving social safety nets, continuing to build a green, livable city, and helping Singaporeans collectively shape this new social compact that reinforces their responsibilities to one another. So if we see what's happened today in the ministry's agenda, we now have some sense of what this improving social safety nets and new social compact could look like. And we can expect more of that sort of echoing of the address and the ministry's agenda to take place over the next few days with the coverage from the other ministries.
Grace, thank you for your perspectives and insights, Deputy News Editor Grace Ho. In other news, NTUC FAIRPRICE has apologized after a mixed-race couple was turned away from a booth offering free snacks for Ramadan. FAIRPRICE says it has settled the matter amicably after engaging the couple and addressing their concerns. It also says that it has counselled the employee who had allegedly told the couple that the freebies were, quote, not for India. The incident happened on Sunday at the FAIRPRICE branch in our Tampines hub when Ms. Farah Nadia, who is Malay Indian, and her husband, who is Indian, were told by supermarket employee not to take anything from the booth and to go away. Kitchenware brand and household name Tupperware is on the verge of collapse. Its shares plunging by nearly 50% after it warned of acute cash shortages. Investors are spooked after it hired financial advisors to help keep it in business. And the company admits that there is, and I quote, substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern. The 77-year-old US brand has struggled since sizzling sales in the first year of the pandemic and could be delisted from the New York Stock Exchange after it failed to file an annual report for 2022. And those are our top stories today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel. for more videos. Subscribe by clicking the red button below. I'm Haryanto Diman. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.